Everybody knows the T6 Dracula. I wouldn't say that this is an overpowered vehicle at the current state of Blitz, not when you have vehicles like the Smasher and the Annihilator roaming around in Tier 7. But I will say this is still an incredibly strong and powerful vehicle depending on the player driving it. A tank that you don't hear too much about is the M41D. This is a Tier 7 Chinese light tank, and in my opinion, it is just as strong, if not more capable, than the T6 Dracula. In today's video, I'll be letting you know everything about this tank, why it is super underrated, and honestly, why you should keep your eyes open for this vehicle if it does ever hit the store. We're going to start off with the gun of the M41D. And it's quite strong. I am running refined gun, as I am for basically every tank now. So we have .269 dispersion, 3.5 seconds of aiming time, and 2,700 damage per minute. Yeah, this thing has a lot of DPM. If you compare that to something like the Dracula, even with Rammer, the Dracula is only about 2,100 DPM. This tank is literally years ahead in the damage output department. And when you pair that to the fact that this tank also has decent premium pen at 231 mils for a Tier 7 light, yeah, this thing's actually pretty impressive in the gun characteristics. It deals 170 damage per shot, has 145 in the premium, and an absolutely devastating 260 high explosive damage. If you are able to get HEs out, you're going to rip into whatever it is because you're almost doubling your damage output. 8 degrees of gun depression allows this tank to be flexible on any ridgeline, but it's really the mobility that stands out for this vehicle. It has a top speed of 70 and a reverse of 24. It has an average speed of 50. Its power to weight ratio is 34.3. If we take a look at a vehicle like the Dracula, this tank's average speed is 53. A lot of people don't realize that the M41D actually has much better terrain resistances than really any other tank in the game. And because of that, it has basically the best power to weight in the game. If you add the terrain resistances to the power to weight, it can even out-accelerate a Dracula. And judging that the Dracula only gets up to about 56, and this can go 70, yeah, this tank is a little bit nutty. Now, it does have some downsides compared to the Dracula. It's a bit larger on at least the height department, which means it's a bit easier to shoot, and it also doesn't get covered in spaced armor on the sides. However, there is still spaced on the side, so it's going to be pretty hard to high explosive pen this tank. But we're already going 70. Like, you don't even realize how fast this thing is until you're literally at your top speed, and then you're like, what the absolute heck? So he spotted a Hellcat, and there you go. 280 damage high explosive right into his tank. As I said, this thing is devastating with the high explosive ammunition. That Hellcat did not enjoy our company. And now we're just going to leave. We're already going upwards of 60 already, 65. I mean, this thing is ridiculous. We are going to make our way all the way into our spawn heavy side, and the reason why is because our whole team is going here, and I just don't see a reason to go alone, especially when the entire enemy team appears to be heading over towards base A. That shell did not go exactly where I wanted it to, however, it's not that big of a deal. Oh, that Tiger's so close to showing me his side, but, well, we hit him right in that little red part. Oh well, not that big of a deal. I actually see the enemy LTTB making his way into our spawn a bit. Well, we're down to Basoto. It's not the biggest problem, but it definitely could be if we allow it to be. So I'm going to use the mobility we have. We're going to head all the way behind the enemy spawn here, and then we're going to get to the Hellcat. There is something that's on my flank. It's an SU-152. Okay, interesting. Well, we're going to aim it on the Hellcat. There's one pen into his tank, one pen into your tank, and I don't really want to be shot by that. I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to back up very briefly. We're going to aim it on the Hellcat. There you go. 250 damage, high explosive, finishing him off. And then we're going to push the enemy SU-152. And I think that's where the play is going to be at. If we can just get behind this SU-152, I don't really think there's much he's going to be able to do to us. So let's do that right now. There we go. One shell into his tank. I mean, look at the mobility on this thing. It is so stupid. There is no tank destroyer that can really deal with an M41 Jade. There you go, another nice shot. Wonder if we can ammo rack him. Keep shooting him there. However, doesn't look like it's doing all too much, but he's already dead. I mean, there's no counter to this tank in that type of situation. We have the enemy Spark-style vehicle. However, our shot went a little bit too low. Alright, well, let's keep... Oh, what the... We got another Hellcat vehicle in the enemy spawn. Alright, well, let's make our way right over to this vehicle. And I wonder if we stay behind it. Well, we can high explosive pen it. However, the only problem is that we are also getting shot at by the VK, but we get the clear out, which is pretty good stuff. We have the enemy Aeonics over here. There we go. We get one pen out. He shoots his clip, and we get a second pen out. Pretty good stuff. I mean, obviously, this is going to be a loss. Our team is pretty dookie balls, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how skilled you are. If your team's bad, you're probably going to lose. But we're going to try and maneuver our way over towards the LTTB. We're going to see if we can get some damage into the LTT. There you go. We got a tracking shot out, which is obviously pretty nice. We got one shell out. Unfortunately, the Blaze managed to miss his shot, which is obviously not great for him. We're going to reload. 3, 2, 1. Finish off the LTTB. I mean, this tank is insane. That's really all there is to say. The gun on this vehicle, the DPM, everything that it does is just ridiculous. And sure, it might not be like the most overpowered tank, but the level of damage we just did, what, 3,700 this game? I mean, what the heck? We did 3,700 damage in this battle. It didn't even feel like that. But when you have 2,600 DPM and you have the mobility of a speed demon, you are just able to position yourself in every spot you need to get out damage. Now, unfortunately, our Blaze did fall apart. If he had hit that shot on the LTTB, he might have been able to live a bit longer, and we could have been a bit more of a distraction. But obviously, when you have a team like this, it doesn't really matter what you do when literally 70% of the team does 400 damage. We, on the other hand, had a pretty fun experience there and really showcased where the M41D is such a ridiculous tank. The mobility is crazy. I do not think a Dracula would have been able to get away with what we did this game. Not just because of the fact we're a bit faster than a Dracula, but also the high explosive output and damage per minute this vehicle has is kind of unmatched in Tier 7. Like, Dracula has literally 600 less DPM than this tank, maybe even 700. And when you pair that with the fact that this vehicle is just so fun to mess around with, it's just incredible. So let's do some more gameplay here, and we'll see how we do in our second battle. So we now arrive on Hellas, and up against us we have another Hellcat. The great thing is, while this vehicle may not have a lot of pen, it still features really, really good damage output with the HE, and you're at a low tier. So you can still get out some really nasty slaps. Like the Hellcat on the enemy team, super easy HE. Possibly the side of the Sturmil, yeah. If we can get those shots out, we will obviously be sitting pretty healthy. So we are going to make our way right over here, and we're going to see if we can spot anything maybe crossing. We are so incredibly fast that we should be able to beat anything anyway. Well, we shot at the Stritzvon. Unfortunately, the shell did not hit, but I don't think it's too big of a deal. I'm going to maneuver my way into the enemy spawn, and we'll see if I can find something. Now, the Sturmil does have really good traverse speed, more than you'd think, so because of that, we're going to have to be a little careful if we actually run into his tank back here. But at the same time, oh, there's the Sturmil. And there we go. One HE aimed in on the side of his tank, 250 damage. We got our second one aimed in, 250 damage. We got our third one aimed in. Oh my rat. We have literally taken a full health Sturmil and killed him. Holy stupid. What the absolute heck is this tank? Wow. Welcome to the M41 Jade, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to literally one of the most ridiculous guns in the game. We have taken some pretty healthy vehicles and absolutely demolished them already at this point. The Skoda PJS misses me. We're aiming on the Tog. We got an easy shell into his vehicle. And, well, I don't want to be shot by the Skoda. Yeah. I thought the Schmaltrum was going to be shooting a bit more, but he kind of didn't. Okay, let's see. The Skoda is obviously going to make his way over here, it looks like. So let's see if he pokes this. Come on. Oh, nope, not able to pen that. Schmaltrum's over here as well. We got the rest of the enemy team off to the flank. And what I'm hoping right now... Oh, yeah. You know exactly what I'm hoping. I'm hoping I can get some absolute juicers into the Hellcat. Oh, my God. This tank is ridiculous. We brought a full health Hellcat down to 300 health in, like, 2 seconds there. What the absolute heck is this vehicle? Well, we get a shell into the enemy Skoda PJS, and let's see if he pokes again. Come on, poke it. No, he's not going to. Let's be honest, it doesn't really matter at this point. The enemy Skoda is going to die to us, and we're just going to get to his side here. There's one pen, and, well, let's get that second one out. There you go. And all that's left at this point is the enemy Stritzvon 74A2 and the E10. Well, we're going to get behind the Stritzvon. There you go. We missed that first shot. However, I don't really think it matters all too much. We're going to be aiming at high explosive on his rear. First one misses. We're going to load in an AP for the... Okay. Well, there is one downside of running V-Stabs, or Refined Gun, and that one downside is the fact that we are missing some pretty easy shots on the move, but The advantage is obviously if we do sit still, we have way, way better accuracy. But yeah, we definitely could have hit some better shots there if we had let them aim in. We got the side of the E10 over here. There's 1 pen, 2 pens, and are we going to get the third out? No, but I don't think it really matters. I really don't. We did another 3,800 damage game. I mean, what the heck? This tank is ridiculous. And anybody that wants to disagree, well, here's my evidence presented in front of you. I would tell you for a fact that this is easily one of the best tier 7s if you know what you're doing. Obviously, if you don't know how to drive light tanks and you watch this video and then you buy this tank, I don't know what to say. You're not going to do great in the vehicle if you don't know how to drive lights. There's still a lot of skill involved in doing well in a tank like this, and even though it looks easy, it's not going to be super easy to pull out every single game. But if you know what you're doing, this thing is crazy, and it is easily one of my favorite tanks in the game just because of everything it has going for it. And just in case you think that these are cherry-picked battles, we can see that they were literally back-to-back games. So, yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you want to see more like this, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. And let me know what you guys think about the M41 Jade in the comments. This tank is just crazy. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.